Hey guys, and welcome to another video. Today we're checking out this main board that I bought from Aliexpress for $60 including free shipping. It is from Huananchi. It's an X58 mainboard for the LGA 1366 platform. I find these mainboards really interesting. Firstly, these are brand new, but they all have to do with recycling. So what happens here is there's an excess supply of old server and workstation processors and also RAM, as well as chipsets. So they remove chipsets from old server mainboards and then put them on these brand new motherboards. So the idea is that you can use existing CPUs and RAM that you might have lying around, or you can buy cheap Xeon processors and registered server ECC memory and put together a fairly affordable bundle. X58 or LGA 1366 mainboards from China have been out for a while, but this is newer and it's the only one that has fully working triple channel memory, which was one of the highlights of this platform. So yes, I've confirmed it. With 3 memory modules, you get faster triple memory throughput, and the performance is actually pretty decent. But let's take a closer look at the mainboard first, and also what's inside the box. So here we have the mainboard box. It's fairly generic. It doesn't even list any specifications or features of this product. In the box we have an I/O shield. There's a single SATA cable. We're getting a CPU cooler adapter. So this one installs onto the 1366 mounting holes, and then you can install a tower cooler that has those hooks for the typical AMD processing coolers. We also get a little booklet. This one has information about the front panel header, for example. I often get queried about that, and here's a warranty information card. In today's video we will check out the mainboard and the features, but next week we will take a look at the bundle that's only $100 with 12 gigabytes of RAM and a 6-core processor, and we will see what the performance is like. This also gives me an opportunity for you guys to ask me any questions, and I can quickly put this on my test bench and do some more tests for you guys. So here we have the mainboard. I find it fairly attractive. Black, white, and some green going on there. So they are putting in an effort to make it look a little bit nicer. Here are the 3 memory modules. Depending on the CPU, you can use normal desktop RAM. So with a Xeon processor, you can use either a normal desktop RAM or registered ECC server memory. But if you're installing an i7 processor, for example, then you cannot use server memory. You have to use regular desktop memory. We've got a chipset cooler here. This one is active. The fan isn't too loud, and it does a decent performance at cooling the VRM components. I used a thermal probe with a laser pointer, and yeah, temperatures were just fine. Now do keep in mind I'm using CPUs with a 90-95 watt TDP, so things could be different if you're using 130 watt TDP CPU. Then the cooling performance might not be that great. We've got an 8-pin CPU connector here. Here goes the ATX power supply, and we have a nice selection of PCI Express slots. These two are 16X, so these are PCI Express 2.0. Both are 16X. I tried a video card in both of them, and that works fine. That means you can do crossfire. And if you're using some hacked SLI drivers, you might even get SLI to work. But it's nice. You can install your video card here and maybe a 4X or 8X capture card or something like that. We've got a PCI Express 1X and also a legacy PCI slot over here. At the back, we have 2 PS2, 6 USB 2 ports and 2 USB 3, which is very nice. Even some of the cheaper X59 boards do not have USB 3. We have a gigabit Ethernet port from Realtek audio, and yep, a nice selection of ports. I ran CPU set and it's telling me it's using a 5520 chipset, which originates from server and workstation mainboards, supporting even 2 processors. So that's where the chipset comes from. And we also have an Intel ICH 10R, which means you should be able to do some RAID. We're getting 6 SATA ports, which is nice. Unfortunately, because of the age of this platform, they're only SATA 2, so loading times might be a little bit longer compared to a more modern board that has SATA 3 or M.2 NVMe support. There's a 4-pin header here for the CPU cooler. Here we can connect the front panel audio. There's a 3-pin fan header here and 2 headers for USB 2. We're getting a display to show the postcodes. USB 3 front panel header is here. This is for the case front panel connector. Here you can connect your PC speaker, and these 2 pins are for clearing the CMOS. And here we have another 3-pin fan header. So I've been using this mainboard for maybe a week, downloading and testing a range of games and benchmarks, and what definitely stands out is the compatibility and stability. I didn't have any issues. It even seems to have modern CPU instructions, so all the games like Far Cry 5 and so on ran without any issues. Didn't have a single crash, but looking carefully, I did find a few weaknesses. One is that the SATA ports are SATA 2. Because of the age of this platform, that can't be avoided. The other issue is, and a lot of these Chinese mainboard have that problem, this sleep mode doesn't work. So if you're in Windows 10 and you put it to sleep, the display will go dark, but the board will still run at full blast, so to speak, and you will not see a difference in power consumption. And finally, I tested a couple of graphics cards. The Radeon RX 580 worked just fine, but it will not boot with the Radeon RX 5700. This has to do with modern and legacy BIOS support. So yeah, if you're trying to use a modern graphics card that does not have a legacy BIOS support, then it will not work on this mainboard, unfortunately. But not a big deal. Seeing the price of this mainboard and the performance you're getting, you're probably not going to pair this up with a high-end video card anyway. The motherboard is also very compatible with legacy software. You can install Windows XP, Vista 7, 8, 8.1 and Windows 10 without any issues, both 32-bit and 64-bit. Now we will properly have a look at the performance in next week's video. But a little bit of a preview, I ran Cinebench with this Xeon. This is the X56 70, so it's a $20 processor with 6 cores and 12 threads. And in Cinebench R15 we're getting 715, and in R20 we're getting 1502, which are scores that are not that bad actually. The triple channel memory function, I confirmed that that's working. I put some results on the screen, and I also like the amount of memory you get. So rather than 8 and 16, you will end up with 12 or 24 gigabytes of RAM, and 12 gigabytes of RAM might be a good sweet spot in between 8 and 16, and also compared to the X59 platform, you only have to buy 3 memory modules. You might already have 4 gigabyte DDR3 sticks lying around that you can recycle in this platform. So yeah, I like that. 12 gigs is just that little bit more than 8, and 24 gigs is that little bit more than 16. And yeah, it might make a difference in your whatever software you're running. I had a look on the used market, and branded LGA 1366 mainboards still command quite a premium. So if your mainboard died for some reason and you're looking for a replacement, then this could be the product for you. At $60 US, it's not a bad price, and that includes free shipping. So if you're living in a regional or remote area like I do, then this can be a plus. Now for those looking at building a bundle, a system with processor and some RAM, we will check that out next week and how it stacks up, for example, with X59, so stay tuned for that. But all in all, I'm really happy with this product so far. Stability and compatibility has been really good. It's got a nice range of features. You can do Crossfire and maybe even SLI if you use some modded drivers. The chipset cooling is nice, and it did a fairly good job at keeping the VRM temperatures in check. We're getting USB 3, and you can recycle your existing DDR3 memory if you have memory lying around, or you can buy some server registered ECC DDR3 memory And yeah, so I think the value is definitely there. If you've got parts already and your mainboard died, then this is quite interesting. Whether or not this is also suitable as a bundle compared to X59, that's something we will find out in next week's video. But so far, I'm pretty happy. And this is the sort of product that I really like reviewing. Good value. It's a little bit different than the mainstream stuff. And yeah, the BIOS might be a little bit rough and raw, but all the settings are there. Also quickly talking about overclocking. There is no overclocking possible with the frontside bus. The only way you can overclock on this mainboard is you need an unlocked CPU, where you can change the multiplier. And those CPUs cost a lot more than this one here, which is only $20. So this is a fully locked processor. And yeah, looking forward to next week's video. Let me know if there's anything in particular you want me to test. I can quickly put this back on the test bench and carry out those tests. But so far so good. I will put some links down below in the description. And as always, guys, give me some feedback. What do you think of this board? What do you think about the X58 or LGA 1366 platform in 2020? Is it time to move on, or is there still some life left? And yeah, if you want to see any other specific videos, keep those comments and suggestions coming. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And thanks for watching. I shall see you soon with another one.